Neurons. What is a neuron? What is the structure of a myelinated motor neuron? What are the different types of neuron? So neurons are another word for nerve cells, and they are specialised cells which are adapted to quickly carry nerve impulses from one part of the body to another. So if we look at the structure of neurons, the mammalian nerve cell is made up of a cell body, which is this part here. There are dendrons, which are these branches off here, which then get into smaller dendrites. There is an axon, Schwann cells, which make up the myelin sheath, and little gaps between Schwann cells are called the nodes of Ranvier. And at the other end, there are these terminal buttons. So looking in detail at each one now, so the cell body has a nucleus and lots of rough endoplasmic reticulum, which are associated with the production of proteins and neurotransmitters. Then there are the dendrons, which are extensions of the cell body, which divide into smaller branches, which are called dendrites. And they carry nerve impulses towards the cell body. There is an axon, which is a single long fibre, which carries impulses away from the cell body. There are Schwann cells, which surround the axon, protecting it and providing electrical insulation. They also have a role in phagocytosis and nerve regeneration. But the Schwann cells wrap around the axon many times, so the layers of their membranes build up. So the myelin sheath is what covers the axon, and it's made up of membranes of Schwann cells, and the membranes are rich in the lipid myelin, and myelinated neurons have a myelin sheath, and they transmit impulses a lot faster than unmyelinated neurons which don't have the myelin sheath. And then the nodes of Ranvier are the gaps between Schwann cells where there's no myelin, and the gaps are about 2 to 3 micrometers long, and they occur every 1 to 3 millimeters in humans, but obviously for every species it'll be different. So here we are, a side-on section of the neuron. You've got the axon here, and these Schwann cells make layers and layers of membrane which wrap around to form the myelin sheath, and then every so often there's gaps, which are called the nodes of Ranvier. So neurons are classified according to their function. There are 3 types: a sensory neuron, motor neurons, and intermediate neurons. So the sensory neurons, which you can see at the bottom here, send impulses from the receptor to the intermediate or motor neurons, and they have one dendron that carries impulses towards the cell body, and one axon that carries information away from the cell body. Then there's motor neurons, which is the one you quite often see in diagrams, and that's where nerve impulses from intermediate or sensory neurons are sent to the effector, which is a muscle or gland, and there is a long axon and many short dendrites. Then you've got intermediate neurons, which is where impulses between the neurons are sent. So it could be, it's like an intermediate between the sensory and the motor neurons, and they have numerous short dendrites. So here are the three types. You've got the motor neuron, the sensory neuron, and the intermediate neuron. So that's an introduction to the structure of neurons.